All right, today I'm in the shop going to build a little printer stand table.
In this video, I'll give you tips on how to cut tapered legs and how to use figure-8 fasteners.
Legs, we're going to use this cherry stock, so we cut this to 1 3/4. We'll end up doing a little taper on these legs. Over here, we have some white oak, some of it's quarter sawn. This make a nice printer shelf. Here's some oak boards we're gonna use for the top. These are red oak, and we're gonna cut a little groove in here to give it a little texture that we'll have in this top. And then here's the dry fit of the carcass for our printer stand or printer table. And so we have all this dry fit together to make sure everything fits precisely as we want. So this is our slide to our printer shelf. And so this part here will be glued to the inside of this rail. And this part here will be glued to the shelf. And it will slide in this groove in this way to slide in and out like this. So important when we do our glue up that this rail be the exact distance from here to make sure we maintain our distance correctly. Now what we're going to do is take apart our dry fit so we can cut the taper on the legs. So this is our top mark on our leg, is where we want the taper to start. And we have it marked over here which is a 1-inch taper. So we're going to start beginning at this part and cut this line here and cut that part off. Then we're going to turn it this way and we're going to repeat the process. Again, this is our 1-inch mark right there, and then cut that off. So this is a straight cut jig. And we're going to place this right to the edge to where our part that we want to cut off is just touching the edge of the board. And then the same thing over here on the side this is where the taper begins right here, and that's just hanging off the edge. So we have that mark and we have it positioned right on this piece of board. So now we're going to make a couple of blocks to hold that in place.
The key to making repeatable taper cuts is to have a standardized arrangement by putting the blocks for the boards to rest up against to make sure all tapers are done the same way.
Now I have my blocks on here where each board will fit perfectly in this alignment and cut this one taper. The same taper every time. So the key is that we use these dovetail match fit clamps to be able to slide in here to hold the lumber in place as we saw it. All right, watch close as we cut this taper. Enter here, exit down there.
Again, the key is to have a repeatable cut. So once you make the taper on one side, we turn it over and make it on another. And that way we're able to get all the 4 legs done in a reasonable time. It makes for nice quick work.
All right, here's the dry fit of the table. This is the side. And this is the front. The shelf, the sliding shelf will go right there. In between these boards on the top, we have a little bitty groove cut, just to give it a little interesting look. So to add some additional feature, I'm going to add that groove on the top and bottom of all these rails. And that'll be a little more consistent look to have that all way across the table. Since it was done on the router, it should be pretty quick to set up.
So after disassembling the dry fit, I take the rails over to the router and make a little groove on each side of them, all the pieces, and even the apron. So occasionally you'll get little burn marks from the saws on your cherry or oak. I found the easiest way to do it is with a nice sharp plane and just plane it all smooth. A couple quick strokes of the plane and you got the burn marks removed.
Now I have this glued up. The most important measurement is from here to here on the front and back. They need to make sure that they are the exact same. That way the drawer slide will work, and I've got 20 7/8. That's important for that measurement to be the exact size, because the drawer slide will make it easy to come in and out.
Now I'm going to do the glue up of the top. And so this is the oak pieces with a half lap for the cherry pieces on the edges. So we get the glue on each of the edges, and then we glue up the half laps, and that completes the top. A few clamps to hold it tightly in place while the glue dries, and we're all set.
Now this has to be trimmed just yet, but it'll slide out like this. So I've got my three pieces. I did a mineral spirits wipe down. Make sure I didn't have any glue residue and any unwanted spots. And if I did, scraped it off with a card scraper. Now we're ready for our stain. We're going to do a light early American stain. Even though we got three species of wood on here, we think that'll be the most consistent color between the three.
So here's a look after staining and finish.
This is the printer drawer. So this is the drawer that will slide in here, and this is what it looks like. Well, let's get this lined up here. So this will slide in. You can see it's very firm because we haven't waxed it yet. So now what we're going to do is wax that slide. So this thing will be able to go in and out. I wanted to show you what it looks like and how it works before we wax it. Okay, now we have our runners all waxed. Now let's see how this works on our slide. Muy bueno. Perfect. This is the figure 8 fastener that we use to fasten the top. So you drill out a hole 3/4 of an inch for this to be set down into the edge of the table. Then it's turned over and this recess hole is drilled up into the top to hold the table. So let's do that. I realized that I have some round head screws, and that's not what's needed here. So I took those out and I'm putting in the flat head screws. That way the top will sit on here and be absolutely flush all the way across. Then the other screws under bottom, you can use the round head screws. Those will be fine.
Here's a few beauty shots of the finished table. So this is a printer stand table with a half lap cherry top on it. We hope you enjoyed our 2 tips that we gave you in this video: how to cut taper legs and how to use figure 8 fasteners. So if you enjoyed those tips, be sure and give us a thumbs up. As usual, if you want to see more of our woodworking videos, consider subscribing down below. And as usual, come back and see me real soon.